Today I will show you 5 companies in which I invest money every month, and I will tell you why. I want to spread out the money in completely different sectors. The only important thing is that I believe that those sectors will be important in the next years, in 10 years and even in 20, 30 years apart from now. So I keep buying parts of those companies and plan to hold them for my whole life. Therefore, you will see, normally I also like to invest in growth companies like Amazon, for example. But you will see that those companies usually pay a dividend. And the first one is Qualcomm. I believe that the semiconductor industry will be very important in the future. I think everybody believes that. I like Qualcomm especially because their attention to detail is very good. Snapdragon is one of the best processors out there. And you can see that they have a partnership with Meta, for example, and all their Snapdragons are built into the Oculus devices. And we get a nice dividend yield of 2.4%. We have a PE of 10.5 and a forward PE of 9, which seems very low to me. When we look at the last 15 years of earnings, we can see the revenue per share constantly kept increasing, which is something I really like to see. Normally, the semiconductor market is a little bit more volatile. We have seen that with AMD and with Intel. There's always a market leader who takes share of the other one. But Qualcomm, they just keep growing their revenue per share. We have just seen it being a little bit stagnant in the years from 2014 to 2018. It's the same with earnings per share. They constantly kept growing, and also free cash flow, which is something I really like to see. And there's still a lot of room for dividend increases. When we look at the annual growth rates, we can see in the past 5 years, revenue grew 12%, cash flow 37%, which is great to see. And currently the company also has a great management. That's why I'm very happy to keep adding monthly into Qualcomm Incorporated. The next stock on the list is Microsoft. This is for the technology sector, which I also believe will be very important in the future. Of course, it's already important. Microsoft is special because it's so important for businesses, and especially the cloud business of Microsoft. They have so many great software as a service programs, which are very useful for companies, and it's a great business model. Also, the management of Microsoft is fantastic. We have a well-diversified company, and currently, yes, the valuation has some sort of a premium, but I think it's well deserved. A PE of 25, a forward PE of 21, and a nice dividend yield of 1.1%, which constantly keeps increasing. If we take a look at the revenue per share, we can see it's been increasing over the last 15 years. Same with earnings per share, nearly a 10-bagger when it comes to the earnings perspective, and also free cash flow per share. The annual growth rates, fantastic. Revenue grew 11% over the past 10 years. Cash flow with an average annual growth rate of 12% and earnings 22%. But please keep in mind that this is no financial advice, and you have to do your own due diligence and make your own decisions. The next company on the list is something from the healthcare sector. I wanted to have a pharmaceutical company because I also believe that this will be very important in the future. As I have mentioned in some of my older videos, I'm really into the pharmaceutical sector, and I invested heavily into pharmaceutical stocks in the last year. But I keep on adding positions of Johnson & Johnson. We have a PE of 24, a forward PE of 17, and a dividend yield of 2.5%. We can see the revenue per share constantly kept increasing year over year. The management is doing a fantastic job. The same with earnings per share. Yes, there's 1 or 2 years, but definitely the company is on track with their growth. Over the past 10 years, revenue grew 3.89%. If we compare that to inflation in the past 10 years, we are a little bit above inflation, which is what I like to see. We want top line revenue growth and cash flow even a little bit above revenue with 5.38%. The next company, BlackRock. I really believe in the future of ETFs. I think it's such a great way to make money with the stock market. You don't have to care so much about single stocks. I have a lot of friends that don't want to pick stocks because they don't want to invest the time, which is absolutely okay. But they invest monthly into an ETF. And I think this is a fantastic way to build wealth over time. And as I believe in the business model of BlackRock, I really like the company. We have a PE of 18.3, of course. Now with the market being down a little bit, the forward PE is 20, but we get a nice dividend yield of 2.89% and also a lot of buybacks, which is something I also like to see. Revenue per share, It's the same picture. It keeps increasing, earnings per share constantly increasing over the last 15 years. And the annual growth rates over the past 10 years, 8.63% in revenue and 15% in cash flow, which is absolutely fantastic. The last company on the list is I wanted to have something with entertainment, which is for personal life. And I really like Disney stock. It was a little bit, the valuation was a little bit higher in 2021, but now it's come down quite a lot. And we have a forward PE of 19. They used to pay a dividend, and I think they will start to pay a dividend in maybe a few years. Revenue per share keeps increasing. Earnings per share also kept increasing, although with 2020 and 2021 we are a little bit below, but we all know there's a legitimate reason for that. And we see the revenue growth rates 5.5%, but I expect those to come up a little bit as things open and Disney Plus gets bigger and bigger over time. Cash flow grew 9.2% over the past 10 years. So those are 5 stocks that I plan to hold for a lifetime. I think it's important that those companies have a high quality, have a good management, that you have top line revenue growth, so you don't want to have a declining company, and I like them to pay a dividend. And I also want to have positive free cash flow. If you want to see some of my more in-depth analysis videos, feel free to check out my channel or look at the pinned comment below.